Chapter 34. Contact. I need more beer? No, not yet. Inside the cockpit, King stood near the captain's chair. Bob was at the gunner station. As the humans entered, King motioned to the pilot station, and Tony sat down and got comfortable. Janice was there. Elle walked in, Janice shuffled over, and they hugged. Slash sat at a random station across the cockpit. Perry plopped down somewhere in the middle. King asked, "Humans ready?" Tony looked over. "Hey Perry, sit at that other station." He pointed to the one near Bob. "It controls the drones." They both got up and walked over to it. "All it does is release them with this button." He pointed to a button on screen and continued. "Then with these over here you can set the formation and tactics. I've never used it, but it looks like the tactics are just like attack and defend." Perry looked at the screen. That looks easy enough," Perry stated, looking at the screen. He pointed at a red back arrow. "And this one probably brings them back." Probably," Tony agreed. Perry hit the launch button and a high voice said, "Testing." They heard a sound like air releasing as drones began flying out from in front of the war store. The screen in front of Perry flashed, and instantly it looked like a view from the drones. They were instantly in a diamond formation, just like it showed on Perry's formation button. Everyone in the cockpit could see the drones in front of the main window. A reticle appeared on Perry's screen and quickly targeted Lemmy's Jeep. The word target appeared on his screen. "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Perry yelled. He noticed the tactics were set to attack and quickly pressed the defend button over and over. The screen flashed and the reticle disappeared. The tactics on screen switched to defend. Then the reticle appeared on screen again, targeting Lemmy's Jeep with the words target again. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what the hell, man?" he yelled again. King rushed over to Perry's station. "Stop!" he yelled, and raised his fist. Perry pressed the button on screen that said return. As quickly as the drones released, they were gone, zipping back into the war store. Perry looked up at King confidently. "Hey man, don't worry bro, I got this," and tried to tap him on the shoulder. Tony shook his head. "Perry man, this is ball 3. If we lose, it's game over, man. Don't fuck up like that. We can't fuck around like that." Bob looked over at the humans. "Each war store kill is an extra ball, man." "Oh, shit. We can get to ball 0. Let's rock." Tony started the war store moving, and the giant machine lurched forward and began creeping ever so slowly. He looked over at King, then down the hall at the broken outer door at all the chimps and gorillas sitting on the top of the war store. "Are they just going to sit out there like that?" he asked King. "Yes," King answered. "They no like being trapped in the machine. They free outside." King looked around the cockpit. "This death trap." Perry looked around and laughed. "Yep," King noted. "No worry, they hang on. They like the air in their face." Tony accelerated some. Everyone leaned back a bit as the giant metal mountain accelerated. The war store controls were smooth and responsive. Tony was already getting the hang of it. It felt like they were going slow in the cockpit. The war store was probably cruising at 50 miles an hour. It was a smooth ride. Tony reached into his pack and pulled out 2 stackers. He placed one on his station and touched it, and it flashed on. The face he touched flashed and turned into a scene in the forest. The gamer chimp was sitting a few feet away in the view. He ran up to the camera and picked it up. The chimp and Tony had a stacker and were using them as a simple live video feed. "How's it going?" Tony asked. "Ready. Wait for signal," the gamer chimp replied. Tony put the other stacker next to the first one and it touched its screen. The screen flashed on and came Lemmy's face. Lemmy looked into the stacker. His hair was blowing in the wind. Crammed behind him, you could see a bunch of the tribe. A few spider monkeys were on the seat next to his shoulder. Jimmy was one of them. Beer time. "7 minutes. Been reading this one. It's Fucking 2 pages. Shit, I'm still recording. Lemmy's screen was roaring with his motor. Howdy! Lemmy yelled over the sound of the Jeep's engine. A chimp behind Lemmy pointed on screen and his eyes widened. Hang on a second, Lemmy said into the camera. Then he looked away and focused on driving and hit the gas. You could tell he got serious. The Jeep hit a jump and caught air. From Tony and everyone in the War Store's cockpit view, the scenery behind Jimmy went from trees to blue sky. He must have caught massive air. The tribe members in the Jeep hooting and hollering behind him. Then the Jeep slammed into the ground, and all the monkeys slammed behind it, with big smiles on their faces. Lemmy gave a high five to the chimp behind him and looked back into the stacker. What's up? We're just checking in, Tony said. We stay with you, Lemmy replied. Let me know when you need scouting. We'll be here. Hey, you know this place better than me, Tony said. We're following you. From the cockpit's main window, Lemmy's Jeep accelerated and came into view, a slow-motion dust trail expanding behind it. Tony continued, when there's a hill we can't see over, scout that for us, just like we talked about. Yep, yep, Lemmy yelled. There's one a ways up there. His Jeep accelerated again, pulling away from the War Store. I check it. The War Store cruised along the forest floor. Tony tried to drive in the open plains instead of over trees when possible, but that wasn't always possible. They drove for a long time. Inside the cockpit, driving a 1,000,000-ton war machine, it was eerily silent. It might have been awkward if they weren't driving into a life-or-death situation. Perry had a random thought that they'd been driving for about as long as a Three's Company episode. He drifted off for a minute, remembering Chrissy and Terry's boobs from that show. And don't forget Janet. Then Candy's face appeared in his mind, and he got sad. Then his pregnant, cloned ex-girlfriend appeared. She looked at him. She smiled and bent over. Her hospital gown parted, and her beautiful cloned ass emerged from it. Unconsciously, he squeezed the rainbow dildo in his hands. Through the stacker, everyone in the cockpit could hear what was happening in Lemmy's Jeep. He did one of his famous gravelly slides with a giant rooster tail. Then everyone in the Jeep looked and was focused on something, like they all saw a ghost. At first, they were quiet. Then they started making excited monkey sounds. Hoo, 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 hoo. Lemmy looked into the camera with a serious face. Contact! Everyone in the cockpit snapped to attention. Lemmy continued driving. It's a War Store in the valley, right on the other side of this hill. Perfect, Tony thought but didn't say. But he did look around at the others in the cockpit and said, right on time. Perry knew that look on Tony's face. What's up, man? We have 2 options. Blow them to fuck or try to hijack another one, Tony said. I think we should try to get another one. Tony looked over at King and Bob. Bob's better than me at piloting this thing, but both of us piloting 2 War Stores at the same time, we would pwn anything in our path. We did it in the simulator, right, Bob? Then he looked at King. King says if he goes in with a small party and the guys on Lemmy's Jeep, we could break into and take another War Store. Harry just looked at Tony and his eyes widened. He didn't say anything. Lemmy looked into the camera, then looked away and looked back. Yeah, it looks pretty normal. King yelled to Lemmy through the stacker. Come get us. Okay, boss, Lemmy said as he adjusted his vector and hit the gas. Started heading towards the War Store. Tony looked at King. Okay, man, it's your call, but you're sure, right? King always sure. Then King walked out of the cockpit, looking serious. As he exited the outer door, he motioned to the tribe, and a bunch of gorillas and chimps followed him, climbing down the war store. Bob was thinking, wait, should I go too, Mon? Tony was in strategy mode. Okay, man, after they get it, and he paused and thought, if they get it, you go, Bob. You're the only other pilot. Wait, what? He can't die, but they can die? Perry asked, confused. Bob looked at Perry, then at Tony, then back at the main screen. Tony's face looked at his screen, but his eyes looked over at Perry and he shrugged like, what am I supposed to do? This is King's plan.